Last week, a public awareness campaign seeking to bring attention to the alleged persecution of Muslims in Burma was held at a Mississauga library. This sounded interesting to us, so off we went to file a report. Things started out fairly routinely. However, as the saying goes, a funny thing happened on the way to the forum. Namely, my cameraman, Efren, and I were not allowed into the auditorium. In fact, we were abruptly told that we had to vacate the premises, which I should point out is a publicly funded library. If there is a group trying to get public awareness, as they say, there's a genocide going on Burma, why wouldn't they want the media to cover this? And it wasn't just us, folks. Other people were also denied entry into the auditorium, even though they actually had tickets for the event. Based on my observation, it seemed as though non-Muslims were persona non grata, as only non-Muslims were in fact turned away at the door and told to vacate the premises, and again, no reason was given. In fact, I asked a couple of police officers why we were being expelled. They said they didn't know either. Officer, we were just here to cover this for Rebel Media, but no one gave us a reason why.
We're acting on behalf of security.
Oh, I understand that. Do you know the reason? Or? No? Okay, all right. Weird. But check this out. I happened upon Andrew Day. He's an aid worker and a photographer, and along with Liz Mize, they recently published a book about Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh. Here's what May had to say.
I'm a white Canadian who's going to this event. Why are you guys not going to the event?
Well, actually, sir, that's a good question, because we're here to cover it, and these gentlemen had actually bought or registered for tickets, and we've all been denied entry. No reason has been given, so I'm curious how come you get to go in and we can't. I really want to hear what they have to say.
I can go in because it's my photos that are in that auditorium. Yeah.
You've been to that region of the world, and now can you, I guess, contextualize the argument here? I mean, there are people that are saying, they're portraying what's happening to the Muslim minority as akin to a genocide, but there are others that are saying that the Muslims there have brought this upon themselves. What's your take as someone who's visited that country?
There's a political problem, and there's an ethnic group within the country that the government doesn't want to have in the country, and they're trying to expel them.
And so now Myanmar, of course, it's a Buddhist majority, but there's also like Hindu minority there, there's a Christian minority. Why are things different with the Muslim minority in that country?
Well, this is not the only group. The Christians are the same.
Now, I'm not sure what May meant when he said the Christians are the same. Did he mean Christians are also oppressed, or are they part of the oppressors? In any event, I then carried out a brief conversation with Liz, who, like Andrew Day, was scheduled to give a presentation at the event. Specifically, I asked her about the suspicion harbored by some that the Horror and Hate seminar is really part of an elaborate PR campaign with the goal of pressuring the Canadian government to allow more Muslim refugees from Burma to immigrate to Canada. And here's what she had to say. The critics of your group are basically saying that what the unspoken strategy here is to convince the Canadian government to have Muslims from Burma admitted as refugees into Canada.
Yeah, they're already doing it, isn't it?
Oh, they're already doing that?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, there are a few thousand out there in Kitchener. The organizers have presented the case to the government. And I know that there are about 7,000 to 9,000 Rohingyas here in Canada. Yeah.
Well, certainly there's been some issues with the Syrian refugees coming to Canada in terms of, I guess, accepting Canadian values, for lack of a better word. Has this been the case with the Muslims from Myanmar?
Yeah, I mean, I think they have been very quiet, and they have assimilated into the community.
Now, for what it's worth, Burmese Buddhists dispute the claims being put forth by the nation's Muslim minority. Here's what the Buddhists have to say. First of all, there is no genocide of Muslims in Burma's Rakhine state. The ongoing conflict is occurring in the area of northern Rakhine, where there is a 90% Muslim population. Also, the Rakhine region is not the ancestral home for Muslims from Bangladesh. As well, worldwide mainstream media and fake news sources have launched a campaign against the indigenous people of the Rakhine region to support a Saudi-backed UN agenda. As well, Islamic separatists of the Rakhine region received training in Pakistan in order to incite political and religious violence. Rakhine women are afraid to enter so-called Muslim no-go zones for fear of being raped and/or killed. And finally, desecration of ancient sacred sites by Muslims is routinely ignored by the mainstream media. Now, in the interest of fair comment, I really wanted to hear what the other side had to say. In fact, that was the very reason we ventured out to Mississauga in the first place. But as we found out, a supposed public awareness campaign at a public library was only open to certain members of the public and, I suppose, certain members of the press. I wonder why. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Like what you just saw, then click subscribe below and never miss another Rebel video.